Hi, everyone. I'm Messina. I am the owner and head trainer of Q&A Dog Training. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you, Miranda, for giving me this platform to speak about a very important topic, which is dog body language. So why, I'm just going to jump right into it. So why is it important that we learn dog body language? We expect our dogs to learn our language, so it's only fair that we learn theirs. Often body language can be super subtle. It can be misinterpreted and misunderstood. So I'm hoping by the end of this webinar, you'll feel a bit more confident and more versed in your dog's and other dogs' language. So we can also prevent bites to humans and to dogs. So this dog here, she is guarding something. I think it's a bone. I would not go close to her. I would give her some space. So she's giving off a lot of signals, which we will get into more. We can understand how our dogs are feeling and set them up for success. We can prevent misunderstandings and less fights at the dog parks between humans and between dogs. And ultimately, we can prevent dogs from losing their lives. So we can, take them out of situations where they might feel the need to react because we see the signals that they're displaying. So we're going to start off with fear, anxiety, and uncomfortableness. So this pup right here, he's getting the little vet exam. He's not looking too excited about it. He is giving off some signals, again, which we're about to get into. He's feeling restrained and looking like he wants to get off of that table. So first, context really matters. The whole entire picture matters. So we want to look at the whole picture, but we also want to look at the whole dog. So from the tip of the nose to the tip of the tail. So this clip, this dog, she is looking pretty relaxed. She's on a beach. It looks like it's sundown. She's also very fluffy, but it also could be hot. She gave a yawn, little panting. She's looking pretty chill. So the next clip I'm about to show is a different picture, different context, but the dog is giving off similar behaviors. So this guy is really loving up on his dog, really in this dog's face. And this dog is showing a lot of stress signals, again, which we will go into in a moment. So this dog and the previous dog have done the same thing, which is a yawn. So let me just go back for a quick second. This girl right here. There's a big yawn, chilling. This dog right here, yawn, doesn't look too stoked to be where he is. So same behavior, different context. So what we want to look for. So this is a picture of my dog Q. He was at an event. I was not there. I do know that the dog's got a bunch of breaks, human breaks, water breaks, shake-offs, and this picture just so happened to be taken in this moment. There are a lot of people touching him, and he loves people, but I was also not there, and it was very overwhelming for him just from what this picture looks like. So he is displaying a lot of stress signals. So the first one is dilated eyes. So his eyes are quite dilated. And sometimes we can see the whites of their eyes, which is called a whale eye, which I'll get into in a moment. He is panting. We can see drooling. We can see lick flips, pacing. His ears are back and flat to his head. tail tucked between hind legs, avoiding eye contact. So the previous clip with the guy loving up all on his dog, that dog was kind of avoiding eye contact. Yawning. Q, when he is stressed out, he will also give a little bit of a sound with his yawn. Whining, submissive urination, biting, excuse me, clinginess to a guardian. So, following the guardian around. Some dogs Q will do this. And I'm sure a lot of people out there, when you are packing or ready to go somewhere, whether you're bringing your dog or not, they're going to be following you around to every room, making sure that you're going to bring them or what have you. And they might be a little bit stressed out because I know that something's changing, and you're leaving. Growling, barking, trembling, flattened of ears, no control over the bladder, scratching self frequently when not previously itchy. This can also be called displacement behavior. So displacement behaviors are normal behaviors that seem out of context. And they happen when a dog is experiencing conflicting emotions and attempting to deflect stress and their uncertainty, anxiety or frustration, or they might be overstimulated, or a response to feeling pressured. So it can be anything from scratching oneself when not itchy, or sniffing the ground randomly, a shake off, a yawn, lick lip. So raised hair on the back or the neck, which is called hackles, which we will get into, and a tight mouth. So when the mouth is tight, the whiskers usually kind of form closer to the nose, which I will show you in a moment. So a couple clips here. This doggo, she is looking a little bit conflicted. She's giving off some stress signals. There's those lick lips, a low wagging tail. So cautious. A wagging tail doesn't always mean a happy dog, folks. Again, we want to look at the whole dog. So her body is super low to the ground. Her ears are flat back. She's kind of got a furrowed brow, and she is avoiding eye contact. And there are those lick lips there. So does this dog look happy? This is a perfect example of a whale eye. So you can see those whites of the eye. This dog as well. She's trying to make herself look small. She's lower down to the ground. She's looking like she's wanting to get away from all those children's hands. Her ears are back, and so this is also a good example of a tight mouth. So those whiskers come closer to the nose area. I would definitely want to give this dog some space and get all of those hands away from her. Okay, so calming signals. So calming signals can look similar to stress signals. So this dog right here, she's looking like she's up high on a stool, kind of avoiding eye contact from the camera. Lots of lick lips here, looking like she's trying to kind of self-cope. So lick lips can be a sign of stress, looking to ease tension, feeling uncertain about a situation, self-soothe, and self-cope. A yawn. So feeling anxious, stressed, uneasy, and looking to de-escalate any conflict. So the whale eye. So another great example of the whale eye. This dog is looking pretty restricted. Their person is kind of full weight body all over them. Another good example of a tight mouth. So stressed out. With the whale eye, you know, you've probably seen on YouTube or TikTok of that guilty look. Or a dog's kind of looking up and you can see the whites of their eyes and they look kind of like guilty, but guilt is a human trait. And just for an example, like on TikTok, if you've seen someone, you know, they come in and they come into their dog ripped apart the couch and they're, you know, angry or kind of like, what did you do? Or what have you. Our dogs are feeling stressed and conflicted. They're not feeling guilty about the situation. So dry shake off. So shake offs are great. I always love to reinforce them. Oh, hello?
I'll grab it.
All good?
All good.
Okay, I just heard something. Okay, so a shake off, yeah. So I always like to reinforce shake offs, whether it's my dog coming out of the water or just a dry shake off. So the release of stress or tension, they typically occur after like a stressful encounter or experience. So let's all reinforce shake offs. It's kind of like when we we're in a kind of stressful situation and then we need to go kind of take a decompression walk, or we just actually need to stand up, shake it off, or do a stretch. It's kind of the same thing with dogs. So hackles, as I mentioned before. So hackles aren't always a bad thing. So they are the piloerection of the hair standing up. So kind of like when we get goosebumps and our hair stands up. So this dog in the corner, the kind of pity looking one, so her hair stands up, her hackles stand up from like the top of her head, looking like going all the way to the tip of her body, or to the tip of her tail. And then this beagle, older beagle here, it's more on the bum, kind of stops and then goes again a little bit around the shoulders and the neck. And then this kind of foxy looking mutt is more around the neck. So the pity staffy looks like they are on high alert. And so it can be fear, which looks a little bit like the mutt. Dominance, it can happen when our dogs are surprised or insecure. Let's say you're at the dog park and there's maybe 3 or 4 dogs that rush your dog and your dog gets the hackles because they're feeling a little bit insecure, maybe even a little bit uneasy about the situation being rushed up like that. So I just wanted to add in ridgebacks. So the larger one in the corner is a Rhodesian ridgeback. The other brown one is a Thai ridgeback, and then the black one is Vietnamese. So this breed has that permanent hair kind of ridge raised, but these are not hackles. So we are going to get into relaxed, happy, and content. So this dog right here, he's looking like he's having a good little rub down. His eyes are super squinty. His ears are all the way back. His mouth is open. I feel like a lot of us know what a happy dog looks like, but we're still going to talk about it. So what we want to look for. We want to look for a wide open, relaxed mouth. So this little guy right here, there's a perfect example of a nice, relaxed, open mouth. Squinty eyes like the retriever before. His eyes were just closed, just loving it. Neutral ears. This dog's ears look pretty neutral. And like a wiggly curved body, nice wiggled tail there as well. Soft eyes. Sometimes, again, the ears go back when our dogs are enjoying something. So context matters. And approaching for more. Our dogs are approaching for more. So, we want to make sure that we have consent from our dogs, and we want to give our dogs a choice. So I usually do like the pet pause. So you're petting, and then take a pause. And if the dog comes back for more, give them more, and then pause again. So that's a little example of giving our dogs consent. So a couple other clips of happy dogs. So ears back, looking like she's just loving this little rub down. Nice squinty eyes, open mouth, relaxed. Again, this pup lying in the grass, looking relaxed as well. Ears are a little bit back. She's aware of her surroundings, but just looking like she's enjoying this summer day. And this fluffer right here, look at those squinty eyes. Ears are back. There's a little bit of a lick lip, but that's probably because that person is just touching their esophagus. So yeah, that dog's looking pretty stoked. So we are going to get into play. So play can look like fighting at times. Have you ever been to the dog park or have noticed two dogs playing, but you can't really tell if they're playing or if they're fighting? So I'm going to tell you how you can tell. So what we want to look for, they're called meta signals. So meta signals are signals that dogs letting each other know, gestures letting each other know that they are in play mode, that everything is all good, and they're just nice and yeah, they're in play mode. So what we want to look for is play bows, self-handicapping, which I'll get into. Role reverse, so there's a nice back and forth, one dog's on the ground and then the other one's on the ground, one's chasing, the other one's chasing. Taking breaks, a shake off, water drinking, sniffing the ground, a play face, which is a nice open soft face. These guys are giving it here. Vocalization, so dogs are vocal, and I encourage dogs when out and about to use their voice. and lots of bouncy movements as well. So what you will see during play. So we'll see lots of chasing, pinning to the ground, body slams. These can seem a little bit brutal, but it is a form of play. To us, it can seem brutal. Growling, baring of teeth, which these two are doing a lot of. These guys look like they have a they're great match for each other when it comes to play. Biting necks and mounting. So these guys are also probably giving off, I don't have sound for these videos, but these guys are probably making quite the noise. So as I mentioned before, self-handicapping. So self-handicapping is when a stronger dog will inhibit their speed, their strength. So this white dog on the ground, she does look a little bit older than this puppy, the brown dog. And so she's self-handicapping. Excuse me. She's inhibiting her speed, strength, her play style, just to better match the ability of her play mate. So a couple more clips of play. This retriever coming in hot. So this retriever's coming hot, very bouncy. The dog on the ground does a little roll. There's a nice break there, though. It can be quick, but you can catch it. So a nice bouncy body. There's a little self-handicapping there, or she just rolled and she's having a hard time getting up. So these two, the terrier looks younger than this Pekingese on the ground. So I would probably, this play doesn't look as matched. So I would probably take both dogs, let them have a shake off, just put them on leash, let them have a shake off, or call them over. And then let the fluffy older one go and see if she wants more play. So mounting. Mounting, as a guardian with a dog that mounts, I know his type. Sometimes he throws me a curveball. But with him and a lot of dogs, it's from over arousal, overexcited. And so, when you know your dog's type, or that they are a mounter, then we can work on recall. I usually I'll like see cues type, which is retrievers and labs always. And I'll see one, 20 feet away. And so, oh, weird. So I'll call him over and, sorry, 1 second, I don't know why my video stopped. Okay. Well, anyways, I'll call him over and I will create space, and then leave wherever we are, because I'm going to have to keep on bringing him back unless the other dog and that guardian are okay with that play style and there is a nice back and forth. Okay, let's just see if this one will give me... So, some misread signals. So, they're learned helplessness. Learned helplessness is where a dog has been repeatedly exposed to a scary stimulus, and they've learned that they have no control over the adverse situation. The dog will shut down and become helpless, knowing that they can't change the outcome. So for an example, I've seen a video of this where a dog goes to daycare maybe like 5 days a week, and the daycare attendants just say that she sits kind of in the middle of the room, and is just kind of shutting down. So she's giving off those signals of maybe she's shaking, she's lip licking, but she has no control because her people are bringing her to daycare every day, and there's nothing that she can do about it. So she just shuts down. So it's not a good situation for her. And there's just a bunch of dogs running around, which makes the matter even more unfortunate for this dog in daycare. So licks to the face. Usually it's towards babies and children. They're kind of pulling and prodding and leaning up against and leaning on our dogs. The licking can be a sign of like a lick, meaning like, get away, give me some space. You know, there's, again, lots of those TikTok videos where those dogs will be licking a kid, but they're also going to be, again, we want to look at the whole dog. They will also be showing signs of uncomfortableness, and maybe even a little bit of anxiety. Okay, so leash greetings and why I usually don't suggest them to my clients. So, you know, leashes can be restricting. And one dog might want to party and say hello, and then the other dog wants to retreat, and they're just feeling restricted, so they can't really get anywhere. Humans are, you know, we have our phones, we have our people around us or what have you, and we can miss the signals that our dogs and other dogs are giving off when we do those leash greetings. Sometimes leash greetings, they just can't be avoided. Sometimes dogs pop out. Sometimes you might say to someone that you don't want to do a leash greeting and they just decide not to comply. So, you know, sometimes they happen. And sorry. So, you know, I usually just don't suggest them, whether it doesn't matter how old the dog is, what good training we have. You know, dogs should be able to have that freedom of movement, whether it's like totally off leash in a closed, safe area or on like a 15 to 30 foot long lead. So they can, you know, decide to retreat, come back to their person. Yeah, so we want to be able to give our dogs a choice with who they say hello to, because choices really matter. So we actually are coming to an end, but I got a couple more clips here. So street park etiquette. I know in the summertime, especially here in Vancouver, people love for some reason to walk their dogs off leash on the sidewalk. Excuse me. You know, it can be scary for dogs that really do need to be on leash, that have fear, that have anxiety, that are reactive. So, you know, leashing your dog, it is the law. So, and also having a dog off leash. I've actually seen someone on their skateboard with their dog. They're going down a hill. They were in a quite busy part of town. And their dog was just ripping behind them. So extremely dangerous. You don't know what other people in cars and other dogs are going to do. So, you know, use those designated off-leash parks. Hopefully your city will have larger ones and good options for you, and trails and beaches that are designated for dogs that need to go off leash. Avoid leash greetings, make space on the sidewalk. If you have to, you can put your dog on the other side. You can bring out those treats that you should be bringing with you all the time when you're out and about. And you can bring your dog to the side and let them nibble on that treat until that distraction walks by. Okay, so as I said, we are coming to an end, but a couple more things. What to do when meeting a new dog. So always, always, always ask the human, the guardian, for consent first. So can I say hi to your dog? Can I please touch your dog? And then wait and see what they say. Stand with your body to the side and speak in a calm voice. So what not to do when meeting a new dog. So try not to make prolonged eye contact. You know, in training, we do ask for those check-ins and that eye contact, but we are in training mode. So our dogs are working for that food. So it's it is different. Dogs can take eye contact as a challenge or sometimes a threat. You don't need to stick your hand out. That's an old myth. Dogs, their sense receptors are millions times better than ours, so they can smell you. So there is no need to extend that hand out. Try not to make fast movements either. I know kids love, kids are higher energy as well. So when we have kids around, we want to try to, be a tree, be a statue, be calm. And then again, yes, we want to kind of come on opposed to straight on, come to the side. If you feel like kneeling down, kneel down, and then let them come to you. And I believe that is the end of my TED Talk. So thank you all very much for joining me. And as Miranda said, we have a few minutes for some questions if anybody has any questions.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you for that. Okay, so first question. My small dog does a shake off when we cross the street. How can I help her feel more comfortable?
So she does a shake off when you cross the street. Is she giving any other signals, any other stress signals?
We don't know yet. I'll see, Vanessa, if you want to respond to that. No other signals,
no other signals. Just a shake off. So, I mean, crossing the street can be stressful for a lot of dogs. There is a lot going on. There's lots of cars. There might be other people, other dogs. So if you can carry those treats with you, and you can be treating her while you cross the street. So you can be treating her for checking in with you. You can be treating her for having like a nice J shape in her leash, which is a nice loose leash. And then once you get across the street, like you can make it a big deal and let her know, like, good job, and shower her with some treats, and then keep moving away.
Awesome. We have another question. Is it okay to put a finger out to a dog to let it know that you want to interact?
I mean, instead of putting a finger out, I would probably like clap the side of your thigh, and you can even do like and usually they will react to that sound. Dogs love a higher pitch sound, so you can even experiment with your dog. If you were to say, "Hey, Q, come here," he might. But if I'm like, "Hey, Q, this way, come on, the bus," he probably will. So instead of putting that finger out, I would just go clap on your thigh, or this way, something like that.
Yeah, I think one of the things it comes down to is what we call like an invitation or a solicitation for attention, right? So we know that as humans, there are a lot of ways we might say, "Hey, I'd like some attention." And dogs do this in a variety of different ways. So like we often see them do that big play bow that says, "Hey, I would like to play." Sometimes they do something really annoying to get the other dog to play. My dog's best friend likes to sit on her when she stops playing in order to get her to play again. So as a human, like Messina's saying, like making a loud noise or like patting your thigh are like pretty normal things that humans often do. I'm also a big fan, if they're really close to you, just kind of putting out the hands like a question, especially kind of in front of you. And if dogs really want to be petted, they will often come up and shove your hand, right? So figuring out some of these easy ways so that if they want to come do that, great, but your hands are still kind of close to your body so that dog doesn't go, "That was scary," and then accidentally think your finger was a snack too, because that's always a risk with dogs who assume that treats come in hands. So, but I always like the idea of kind of setting ourselves up, like the dog will tell you if he wants to be petted, because he'll kind of pet himself with your head a little bit. Can be really helpful. The next question is not a question, it's just a compliment of Q's butt.
He's got a nice butt, hey?
So that is cute. Do you want to tell us a little bit about Q?
He is my muse. He is the Q to my A. He is a pit bull black lab. I got to meet his parents when he was 4 weeks old or something. I just put a blast out on Facebook asking if anyone had a litter of pit bull or pit bull mixes, and an acquaintance of mine said, "Oh yeah, actually I literally have a friend who has a pit bull and a black lab," and she was on the island. So I was in constant communication, probably a little bit annoying to the family that had the puppies, and I was just making sure that they were, doing everything that they should be doing socialization and all that stuff. So I got to pick him out when he was, I think he was 2 or 4 weeks old. I can't remember. And then they brought him to the mainland when he was 8 weeks old. And he is a big chiller. He's a good, awesome dog. He's 5 years old now.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Great questions coming up. You mentioned that licking a child or a person's face as an indication that the dog wants that child or person to go away. When a dog does that with a similar dog, is that, or when they do that with another dog, is that similar? Oh, Messina, are you still there? Looks like we got a brief freeze.
Oh, I'm back.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah.
There you are.
Here we go. Sorry. So I heard, can you hear me? Can I hear you?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So we know that sometimes licking a face can be actually a go away signal. What about using it with other dogs? Oh.
Are you back?
Oh, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay, perfect. Sorry.
Okay.
So the question was about whether licking another dog's face could be a signal to go away or not.
Licking another dog's face, can that be a signal to go away or not? That is a good question. I think it can as well. Maybe Miranda, you can chime in on this one. Are we still there? I'm not frozen, am I?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think this is one of those places too where we see dogs lick people and objects and dogs in a variety of ways. And so where we see the most opportunity for caution is around the idea that dogs are kissing people. And so if they're kissing your newborn baby, that's a great idea. When in reality, that can often be I'm really anxious, or I'm really excited and I'm not quite sure what to do, or I really don't like it. But so certainly we do expect that when dogs are licking another dog, that could very well be a thank you, hello, I've said hi, goodbye now. It could again also be a variety of other things. So it has a little bit to do with the dog and the scenario. There are dogs that, really like to lick. There are dogs that have been taught a licking cue where it's like, give me kisses, and they're taught to lick your face on cue. So there's always a level in there, but some of this is that innate behavior of like, I want to come up, I want to lick it, I want to know what it smells like, I want to check it out. That's all I want from it. Mm-hmm. So you could assume that that might be the same behavior, but depending on your dog, it might not be. Someone else asked, my pup has developed a large range of vocalization. Is there a way to discern which ones are stress signals and which ones aren't in terms of pitch or the way that they sound?
Again, we want to look at like the whole picture. So what, like, are you like, what is your dog doing when these vocalizations are happening? Like, is she just on her bed and you're at home and she's just deciding to have a little sing, or is it around other dogs, or when a stranger comes into the house? And again, like, we want to be looking at her face, her ears, her body language.
Yep. I think there's also an aspect of what happens after. So I find that there are dogs who like, they demand whine or they demand bark, and then you pay them attention and they stop doing the thing, right? So in those cases, we know why they're doing it, right? Versus if they are consistently making these vocalizations and it seems like nothing is happening, things like that can sometimes give us some hints there. I work with kids and have taught them to pet a dog's chin or chest first versus patting their head. What do you think?
Yes. Awesome. Great. So we always want to go under the dog. So we always want to make sure that the dog sees our hand coming in, because when it's, if we're coming over the head or if we're coming from behind, that can spook a dog. And they might, if they're getting spooked, they might redirect, they might kind of look back, run away, tail between their legs. So we always want to make sure that, we come in slow. They make sure that they see our hands, and yes, the chest and under the chin. A bum on the bum is always good too, but you want to usually start off with where they can see your hands first, and then you can kind of move back. So that is great on you for teaching the kids that.
Awesome. I like this question. Why do some pups make a high mewling singing sound when greeting a person?
A high mewling sound. Good question. I think just like excited. That can also come with like a play bow as well. Sometimes it can be overexcited as well. And just some dogs are more vocal than others. Q, for instance, is not a vocal dog. His voice kind of started to, he's 5 now, so his voice kind of started to come out like only a few years ago, and when he was playing with a ball or a stick and like trying to move it around, that's when he's extremely vocal. So every dog is different.
Yeah. I mean, again, a lot of our dogs get really excited and some of them are just louder than others. And some dog breeds or individuals have very distinctive sounds. So like we know that our basset hounds make certain sound. Our huskies are known for being pretty vocal. My dog Mina and I found a husky on the trail today who was very excited, and he made a whole bunch of like little yipping sounds. My Pitty has what I fondly call the Pitty scream or the Pitty warble, where it just sounds like kind of Chewbacca is like screaming in the background when she's upset. So
yeah,
some of it just depends. We got a question. My dogs play rather rough. Often one likes to grab the neck and hold on while the other rolls into her back. What does this mean? And is it something I should interrupt?
So again, we want to look for those meta signals. So you want to look for, if your one dog is the one that is always grabbing the neck and then the other dog kind of rolls over, we want to just make sure that the other dog on the ground, she has moments and times to take that break and to shake off, or she has a moment in time to kind of get up. So I think if they've been like together and they're in the same household and that's their play style, then that, to me, just from what you've just said, seems to be good.
Yeah. And again, it's watching the results, right? So as trainers, we often are looking for what happens afterwards. Like, does this result in the dogs, like somebody yelping and somebody getting upset or scuffles, things like that? Or does it result in just like the next play move? Because that usually tells us, that tells us a lot about what the interaction is designed to do. Well, this is a good one. Our dog licks her leg. That said, it might be knee pain or upset stomach. We've treated both possibilities with meds and she's still licking. Thoughts?
Licking her leg is I'm assuming it's always in one spot. And you've been to the vet. And sorry, Miranda, what was it? She's been to the vet and she went.
Yep. Treated potential knee pain and potential upset stomach, but she's still doing the licking.
Licking can also be, a form of self-soothing, but it can also be like an anxious thing, and that can also result in the fur kind of like coming off as well. So you also kind of want to look at like when is she doing this, and in what context. Has something happened before and then she starts licking her leg?
Wow. Oh boy.
Yeah. Oh, I heard somebody.
There we go. So it sounds like it's happening at nighttime or at sleeping time.
Happening at nighttime or sleeping time. Yeah. I mean, it could be her self-soothing. I have a dog that loves to lick as well. He definitely like licks me all the time. He licks my leg. I call it like a drive-by lick. I'll just be walking and he'll just like lick me. But he also licks his paws a lot. He has had like yeasty paws in the past, not anymore, but he will lick his paws. And for me, I also have ruled out allergies and all that. So for him, I see it as a way of him just like self-soothing himself.
Yeah. All right. Ooh, this is a good one. So if a dog has her mouth over my pup's head, is that aggression or just play?
if a dog has, so is it the same dog every time or just like a different at like the dog park or something?
Let's see.
So
At the dog park.
At the dog park. Yeah. So I mean, so first
With
of all,
various dogs.
with various dogs. So first of all, aggression is a very expensive behavior for dogs. And so it's probably not aggression. It's probably play. So, when dogs show aggression, they usually will try everything before. And if that's not working, then they'll resort to aggression to get whatever scary thing away. And when they use that aggression, that usually works to get that scary trigger away. So they'll keep using that aggression. So just in what you've said, at the dog park, with the dog's mouth over your dog's mouth, can be a form of play. And again, as we mentioned before, we want to just make sure, like, keep an eye on what happens after, how your dog is after. But there is lots of mouthing and vocalization and biting of the necks in dog play.
Got it. Okay, so can you talk about a relaxed open mouth versus a wide open mouth? I think of a wide open mouth as a sign of anxiety or stress.
Yeah, so let me just go back to a picture. So this is a, let's see. So these eyes, this dog's looking alert. This dog is looking more relaxed to me. There's, something could be happening in the corner of this camera. Let me just show another picture for you. So Q in that picture, give me 1 second. Sorry, guys. So Q in the picture that I showed you way at the very beginning, of course. So this mouth is not relaxed to me, even though, it, to like an untrained eye, it's like, oh, his tongue's out, he's panting. But this is, there's also kind of that grimace, which is kind of like, I like to call it like the Grinch, like kind of it goes all the way up, and that can happen when a dog is stressed out. So this is quite a stressed out mouth. And again, we want to look at the whole dog. So his eyes, his ears are back. And then a relaxed mouth, soft mouth is, so that guy, this one, tongue's hanging out, prancing around, squinty eyes, neutral ears. Hope that answered your question.
I think for me, even looking at those pictures, the most obvious piece is like, is the jaw dropping, or is it the smile's moving back? So when you start to see those wrinkles at the back of the jaw, like they're pulling their mouth back into the smile, that tends to be more of our stress smile, versus are they just letting their mouth kind of open? That tends to be more of our open mouth, sort of calm. You can tell a little bit based on the dog, but that tends to be like Julie said, if you can see the molars, it's not relaxed. When you start to see this like really pulling back, again, like human smiles can look kind of the same, but when you pull it back.
Yeah.
Okay, other questions. Okay, wait. My dog follows me in the house room to room and will sometimes do vocal yawns. What does this mean?
That could be a sign of a little bit of anxiety, since they are, following you around from room to room, as well as those stress yawns. Q will follow me around here and there, but mostly when he knows that I'm like packing up and leaving, and then those yawns will occur. So I don't know exactly the whole picture context, but just from what you said, yeah, that seems to be a little bit anxious.
Yep. Vanessa, your question, the slide says not to stick your dog out when your hand out when meeting a new dog. The same thing would be for a fist. So Messina, will you go over one more time how you recommend people maybe meeting a new dog, what you think they should be doing?
Yeah, so we want to kind of come to the side. So we don't want to go on straight on when meeting a new dog, head straight on. Try not to make eye contact. You can kind of look around, and then if you feel safe and comfortable, to get down a little bit, and then you can kind of like clap your thigh, and you can, as Miranda mentioned before, kind of have your hand out like a little bit in your area. We don't need to stick it all the way out. They can smell you. So yeah, I hope did that answer the question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love this question from Stephanie. Are there 5 like top signals you'd recommend to someone who's new to dog body language?
5 top signals. Yeah.
Or like top 5 things you want people to know about dog body language.
Top 5 things. Yeah. So I would say a wagging tail doesn't always mean a happy dog. There's been, lots of times where a dog will be wagging their tail, but they're also stiff body. And people will come up and, oh, but his tail's wagging. I'm going to come up towards you and say hello with my dog and my big energy. And I'm like, oh, no. There's other things going on here. So a wagging tail doesn't always mean a happy dog. For me, and also just in general, because I've gotten this a lot, I do have a dog that likes to mount. People get weird about mounting. They make it into this weird sexual thing when it's not. And they tend to, if I don't grab Q beforehand or call him over and then he starts mounting, people will go and just grab him and touch his harness and like hold him off. And I understand, but you should never be doing that to anyone's dog because you don't know what that dog's reaction is going to be. So consent is a big one. Always the pet pause, give them a choice to come back. Licking of the lips, that is also a big one. And again, in context, if your dog has just eaten something or eaten a treat, they're probably going to lick their lips. But licking of lips when maybe someone new comes into your house or there's children coming closer to your dog and they start kind of licking their lips, that is the lick lip is a one to look out for. And what's another one that I would say? Also when a dog avoids eye contact from you. So, if you have a new dog that comes into your house that isn't yours, or you're meeting a new dog and when they're trying to kind of avoid eye contact, that's a big indicator to take a step back and try not to come closer and give them some space.
Yep. And I would also say one of my big things, like if I could get on a podium now and talk to every dog owner everywhere, it is that your dog's body language matters and it should be respected because dogs have sharp teeth. So there's a lot of videos on Instagram and on TikTok of people doing things to get their dogs to growl, like, taking away resources and things like that like seem like they're funny until they're not. And also that when your dog growls or shows you body language that tells you that they're not comfortable with something, that is something you should be thankful for. And we should stop whatever we're doing and then reevaluate, because otherwise then you end up coming to see me as a behavior consultant and you're like, well, I don't know why my dog bit me. And if he's been giving you growls about something, that is a very, very good indicator that he's like, please stop, or I will have to bite you. So please listen to your dog when they give you this body language. And if they're giving you subtle signs that they don't like something, try to avoid doing the thing that they dislike or come up with a plan for it, versus just pushing past it. Because oftentimes that is where we do often get dog bites, or we lose our relationship when they're like, well, every time I told him to back off, he didn't listen to me. So this is where we're at. So
yeah. And we never want to, Yeah, we never want to punish the growl. Like, growl is what we want before something else pops off. So you want to respect the growl and, give your dog some space or not do the things that they're growling at you about.
Yep. And I think you did such a great job talking too about that meta picture of the things that we're looking at, and also the individual dog. So I know we've got some questions in here about like, what do I do about this specific thing? What does my dog mean in this specific thing? And ultimately, without a lot more information, it's really hard for us to be able to tell you what might be happening with anybody's specific dog, because we can't see the whole picture and we can't see the rest of the behavior. So if you're having body language where you're like, I can't figure it out and it's a problem for me, or I'm not sure if my dog is happy or something's going on, please contact a certified dog behavior professional of some kind. If you need help looking, just let us know. But yeah, if you're having something going on, getting some one-on-one help is definitely what we want to do.
100%.
Yeah. Okay.
Awesome.
I think that is all of our questions. If anybody else has anything last minute, we've got time for like maybe one more, but while we're looking at that, thank you again so much, Messina, for being here tonight. We really appreciate it.
You're so welcome. And thank you all for joining in. I really appreciate it. And this was fun.
We're like international now. Look at us having international trainers.
What's up, Canada?
So I will send out the recording hopefully tomorrow, as long as YouTube cooperates. And I will give you all the information in there. If you have any questions, I'll make sure that Messina's contact information is there, and you can always reach out to us if you have questions. Thank you all so much for coming out to support and for supporting a nonprofit. And we will see you next time.
Thank you all.
Y'all have a good night. Bye.
Bye.